Major U.S. company starts a civil war with bloody move they just made against Trump, boycott now. There's going to come a point at which the entire world sees through this transparent liberal agenda to try and chip away at every single thing that President Trump accomplishes during his time in office. Even the things that they'd normally be completely on board with, that is things that liberals had already done, they're going to object to just because it's President Trump trying to do it. They seem to be considering his policies to be guilty by association. One issue that's floated to the forefront of the liberal masses' sheep-like brains to rage against a little governmental appropriation which President Trump is thinking about giving back. Our former communist-in-chief treated states' rights about like he treated every other law, that they're more like what you'd call guidelines, and decided that Big Brother needed to take some of it for himself. After all, grabbing all the best things and keeping them out of reach of the filthy middle and lower-class citizens. President Trump is looking to rectify this problem, and it has put some liberals on the warpath. One such less-than-pleasant individual is the CEO of Patagonia, who's declared war on this desire to give back some of the governmentally appropriated lands to the states who they were taken from. Via Breitbart News, the CEO of outdoor clothing giant Patagonia is burnishing her anti-Republican bona fides again, this time saying she intends to pledge her entire company to the resistance of President Donald Trump. Patagonia CEO Rose Marcario recently attacked President Trump for his statements about rolling back President Obama's unusually aggressive campaign of confiscating millions of acres of state lands and claiming them as national monuments. "We have to fight like hell to keep every inch of public land," Marcario said in a May article at HuffPost. "I don't have a lot of faith in politics and politicians right now. In an effort to prevent citizens from retaking possession of their state lands, one of her immediate actions will be to sue the Trump administration for its efforts to scale back Obama's unprecedented land grab. "Our president does not have the authority to rescind a national monument," Marcario said in an April 26 statement after Trump announced his national monuments order. "An attempt to change the boundaries ignores the review process of cultural and historical characteristics and the public input." In particular, the Trump administration is preparing to revisit Obama's order to create the Bears Ears National Monument. In April, Trump issued an executive order requiring the Department of the Interior to review Obama's actions on national monuments. Ordering Interior Secretary Ray Zink to review Obama's policies in April, President Trump called Obama's move an egregious abuse of federal power. Many state governments fully agree with Trump's assessment and were furious when Obama swooped in from Washington and stole away millions of acres of land from state control to create new national monuments and parks. A poll of residents of Utah, for instance, showed that 60% opposed Obama's land grab, while only 33% supported it. Along with the possible lawsuit, Marcario said Patagonia would use its profits to back pro-environmental candidates in states throughout the West. This is far from the first time the sportswear company pledged its profits to political matters. Last year, the California-based company spent over $1 million for a Get Out the Vote campaign to defeat Donald Trump and Republicans. But, despite its acclaimed high-minded activism, Patagonia has a troubled history of its own, having been tied to human trafficking and child labor in its supply chain. Difference between public land and the public's land. The fight to do what's right, and keep in mind that the entirety of the lands belonging to the people, as opposed to the government, is something that President Trump never tires of, but it's not for lack of liberals trying. The basic ideological difference between these two camps is that one believes that it's the government's job to oversee everything, and dole out what the people need. The other believes that the people own the land and everything in it, and the government is just a tool that was organized to look after specific issues, like military and roadways. The Declaration of Independence bestows on us the rights to life, liberty and the pursuit of happiness. What many people forget is that that phrase was amended. It originally read life, liberty and the pursuit of property. The reason that was the original draft was that if you had property, what else could you want? You could build a house, raise crops and animals and let your family live in peace. There's a reason that the dispute over property is always a tough fight. So often when the liberals learn their lessons as to what the government is supposed to do, they'd see that the president is just doing his job and trying to get things back to how they're supposed to do.